Your daughter drew her family today, the teacher said. She drew 5 people. There's 3 of us. She named all 5. I stared at the crayon drawing Mrs. Patterson placed in front of me during the parent-teacher conference. 5 stick figures stood in a row holding hands under a bright yellow sun. My daughter Sophie was in the middle with yellow crayon hair and a huge smile. I was on the left with brown scribbled hair. My husband Derek was on the right, but there were 2 more figures I didn't recognize at all. Who are these? I asked, pointing at the extra people with my finger trembling slightly. Mrs. Patterson shifted uncomfortably. Sophie labeled them herself. That one says daddy's friend, and the smaller one says baby brother. My blood went completely cold. We don't have a baby brother. Sophie is an only child and always has been. She talks about them quite often, actually. Mrs. Patterson continued, carefully watching my face. She says daddy's friend comes to visit when you're at work, and there's a baby at the friend's house that daddy calls his son. I couldn't breathe properly. Derek worked from home 3 days a week. The same exact 3 days I worked late shifts at the hospital. I drove home in a complete daze. Sophie was staying at my mother's house for the night. Derek was sprawled on the couch watching TV when I walked through the front door. How was the conference? He asked without looking up. I pulled out the drawing and placed it on the coffee table. Sophie drew her family today. He glanced at it and his face changed, just for half a second, but I saw it. Kids have wild imaginations, he said, forcing a laugh. Who are the extra people, Derek? How would I know? She's 5. She named them daddy's friend and baby brother. He stood up too fast. This is ridiculous. You're interrogating me over a crayon drawing? Then you won't mind if I check your phone. His jaw tightened. You don't trust me? Give me the phone, Derek. He handed it over with this smug expression like he knew I wouldn't find anything. I checked his messages first. Nothing suspicious. His photos were clean. His call log was boring. There was nothing. But something in my gut wouldn't let it go. That night after he fell asleep, I grabbed his laptop. I knew his password because we'd never hidden things from each other, or so I thought. His email was clean. His browser history was suspiciously clean. Then I remembered the cloud. Derek had set up automatic photo backup 2 years ago and forgot it existed. I logged in. The recent photos were normal. Screenshots of sports scores, pictures of his lunch. Then I scrolled back to last Tuesday, my late shift day. There she was. Blonde hair, maybe 25, sitting on our couch wearing a robe, my robe that I thought I'd misplaced. The next photo showed her holding a baby. A little boy, maybe 6 months old, with Derek's exact nose and chin. The next photo was Derek holding the baby. The caption said, "My little man." I scrolled further. Photos going back 18 months, her pregnant belly, ultrasound pictures, the baby being born, a whole second life documented in photos he thought he'd deleted. But Derek didn't understand how the cloud worked. Delete it from your phone and it still exists in the digital sky forever. I found hundreds of photos. Holidays I missed because I was working. He spent them with her. Date nights I thought he was having with friends. He was having with her. Our anniversary when he said he was sick. He was at her apartment with the baby. The baby was born 3 days after our anniversary. I screenshot everything and sent it to my email. Then I put the laptop back exactly where I found it. The next morning, I made breakfast like nothing was wrong. Derek kissed my cheek and said he loved me. I smiled and said it back. Then I went to work and called a divorce lawyer. I called a real estate agent. I called my mother and told her everything. By the time Derek came home that evening, I was gone. Sophie was gone. Half the furniture was gone. I left the crayon drawing on the counter with a note that said, she drew what she saw. My lawyer served him papers the next day. I got the house. I got full custody. I got everything because those cloud photos proved he'd been hiding assets to support his second family. Sophie still draws her family sometimes. Now there's only 3 people. Me, her, and our cat Biscuit. Everyone in it actually belongs there.